it's really funny.
It's recording now. Okay, here we go.
I'll put it back on here, please.
Mute.
But even in that interview, I like how Lord Jamar described Black Thought it's just as a dope MC and gives his reasons. Now, obviously, he's from the era before, Black Thought. When we were like in high school, Lord Jamar, was doing his thing with Brand Nubians and stuff. So his perspective is very objective. It's very fair and honest. You can tell he's just being straightforward, honest, and
Right.
As a listener, and as a hip hop, lover and purist, I can appreciate his opinions, but just his delivery, it's funny, man. You just gotta check it out when you do.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely check it out. G.
Let me see if I got another one while you getting ready.
I'm set.
Okay.
But you're more than welcome to do your thing though.
Okay, all right, I'll just do that, man.
Mic check.
You know what I'm saying?
It's all about.
Go
ahead, G. Do you, man?
I gotta recite it again.
All right, go ahead.
Just on the fact that it's 21 years.
Yes.
Since I wrote. 21 years.
21 years.
I still remember it though. That's the thing.
Yeah,
man.
it doesn't. See, the thing is, it doesn't feel.
Yeah.
Like it's been 21 years.
Like.
Right.
James, man, we are. I'm not trying to get philosophical or metaphysical, but if whatever, it's just this body is just a house, man.
Yeah.
The eternal, or I gotta go vocab on you.
Damn, you hear it popping, huh?
I hear it a little bit.
Yeah, but we'll be all right.
Okay.
I'm going. You know what? Hey guys, what's going on? I'm James SP, the content creator, and I'm here with Gary Rozier.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, sir. So, it's just so you all know, I'm starting my own podcast show, and Gary, you've already started yours.
I have. I'm actually only about 5 episodes deep.
Hey, that's
man.
more. That's 5 more than mine. Yo, but the cool thing about it is though that you started it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we talked about me starting one, but I needed to first get the content creation center together.
Well, you had your priorities in order.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah. So let me just give everyone a history real fast between how we always link up.
Yeah.
Right? On a creative level.
This is true.
Because as kids, you were always the rapper. Right?
Yeah, well,
you were the lyricist. Come on, man. Let's keep it 100.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm saying.
I'm
not arguing with you.
This guy.
I guess you felt me backpedaling.
Yeah, of course. You got to keep it 100, G.
You're a lyricist. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah. So, Gary, you've always been a lyricist, and I was always the artistic one on the back, behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
Making the beats and stuff like that.
True.
And so that's always carried over into other things, right? So we eventually, I guess the first project we worked on together was the rap battle that Queen Latifah.
Oh yeah, that was. What's interesting about that was we were in high school.
Yeah.
And
that
was Black History Month at Montclair Public Library.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the coordinator, his name was Salik Cuevas. I'll never forget him.
See,
man.
I don't even remember all of that.
Oh yeah, he was cool. He put that together. And what was special about that, because since we're talking about that,
what's
we'll
up?
just park there for a second because
Yeah.
I got to shout out a couple people that was in that.
Okay.
Godfrey, J Crush.
J Crush.
You know what I'm saying? Ty Rainey.
Yep.
And
Ty.
E Swan.
And
it was me. It was the 3 of us were the finalists.
Yeah.
And Salik put that together and promoted it. He did a really good job promoting that.
Yeah.
I give it to him.
That's true.
But he never told us who the special guest was going to be.
Right.
The night that they announced.
Before you go any further, I'm surprised Armando didn't make that.
Oh yeah.
As dope as Armando was, right?
True indeed. Yeah, you're right.
He was, in every rap battle that you heard coming from the Claire, he had some form of influence.
Yeah. He had something to do with it. He had a hand on it.
Yeah, every time. But go ahead though. Continue on what you were saying.
So he puts it together and everything, and he never told us who the special guest was.
Right.
And so, but then we all found out who the finalists were. So then we had to show up that night at the library and everything. And You know, it's funny. I was 15 years old at the time. I remember the title of my rhyme was
Do you?
Message to the Black Man.
Yep.
And I think it was
Yep.
it was 3 verses. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was 3 verses. And I didn't have, I was just writing. So it's not like I had a studio or we had our own setup where we could like do it.
Yeah,
so
we were ahead of our time.
Well, yeah, I think so. And
Yeah.
I just wrote it out and I did it a cappella.
Right.
And but Godfrey won. His song was called You and I.
Yeah.
It was a dope song.
Jay Crush got that.
He was rightfully the winner of that. I came in second, and then Ty and Eastwan came in third.
Third, yeah.
And Queen Latifah showed up.
Queen Latifah. That's when we really got a chance to meet her because she had just come out.
She
right?
had just come out with the Ladies First album.
Ladies First,
and
that's right.
she stopped at what the cool part about this is that she stopped at Montclair Public
Yep.
Library for that.
Yeah.
And when she left there, she was going straight to Europe to do a tour.
Yeah. But the cool thing about that was she was super shy.
Yeah, she
Right?
wasn't. Yeah, she came. She was quiet. I mean, she spoke and she engaged. It was very authentic.
Yeah.
We were starstruck. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
She signed our albums.
Yep, I remember that.
And I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
I felt like, and you know what's funny? I remember you and your brother being there.
Yeah, of
And
course.
we left. And I think we went back to your house.
Yep.
But that was really a special night, man. Because even the Star Ledger.
Yeah.
They interviewed us individually, man.
Yeah.
They did a nice little write-up on us, man.
Man, but see, in going back, there was always talent that came out of Montclair.
Absolutely.
We had Fatal,
Oh,
who
man.
eventually went on with Pac
Yeah.
to do the Outlaw.
That's right, man.
Be-
Can
and Noble as well.
we talk about Fatal for a moment?
Sure, man. Hey,
Yo,
yeah.
let me tell you something, man.
What's up?
Fatal, I remember
Mm-hmm.
when he was writing rhymes and everything because we were in middle school.
Yeah. I
And
remember.
I didn't know. I knew he could rap, and then I heard him a
Right.
few times, and I was like,
Right.
"Yo, this guy can rhyme."
Yeah.
Like he used to make me go, like, "Yo, I got to tighten up," because
Yeah.
his content was packed with information that you just can't throw together.
Yeah, he was the punchline guy back then.
He was a punchline guy.
But you knew he read too because the
Yes.
things that he talked about.
Like you wasn't just throwing that together,
Yeah.
like just to make it
Absolutely,
rhyme.
absolutely.
His metaphors and his similes were packed. He made you look stuff up. I remember he was battling Phil Black.
Oh yeah.
This is a funny story
Yeah.
because Phil wanted to battle Fatal, and I was
Right.
like, "Yo, Phil, I said you could battle him, but I don't think you're ready to battle him.
Yeah.
I think you need to go back to the lab."
Because Fatal back then, he had a serious arsenal of lyrics.
Yeah, and he
of
had them all
rhymes.
in his head too.
Yes,
So you
yeah.
weren't going to out rap him.
Yeah, he memorized
All
everything.
of them. And he
I
was
remember.
so swift that if you tried to repeat a rhyme that you said before,
He caught on to it.
he caught on to
Yep.
it and he would recite it along with you.
Yeah.
That's how talented he was.
Yeah.
And they got to battling, and I guess Phil ran out of firepower.
Right.
And that's when Fatal came after him like a lion going after a gazelle. And Phil
Yeah.
was like, all right, you won.
Did you
And
start chasing them?
Fatal was just getting started man, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know Phil remembers that.
Yeah.
I know
yeah.
we do.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But Fatal, oh man, he was such a talented
yeah.
MC, man.
Yeah.
Just I had nothing but respect and admiration for him, man.
sure,
he was
man.
dope. He was definitely dope.
You know who else surprised me was Yafeyu.
Oh, yeah.
Gaddafi.
Yeah, yeah.
and Noble.
Yeah, rest in peace,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
He
Rest
was
in peace to those guys. Man.
he was
Fatal.
quite a lyricist back then too.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he was like I didn't know. When I started
You and
hearing
I.
him, I was like, yo,
He's nice.
he's not only a dope rapper, like he had stamina.
Yeah. He can go.
Like he could go,
Right,
yo.
right,
So
right.
those guys, it was really nice to see them like kind of take off and represent the Claire like that, man.
Yeah,
It was dope.
and that goes to show, man. And you had other people,
Like Noble. was
Noble.
another. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He could rock too, yo.
and then big shout out to some of the other artists that just never got a chance to get their spotlight,
Yeah.
like John Gillens.
Oh yeah, he was.
Yo, he
one.
was nice, man.
Yeah, he was nice.
He was good. You had Dirty Burt.
Yo, Burt was nice.
Yes.
Yo. He's still nice.
He's still nice.
He's still nice.
Matter of fact, he just let out a song or something not too long ago. I saw.
I did hear wind of that.
Yeah.
But back then,
He was ahead of his time too.
Yeah, he was, man.
Ali Bang,
Yo, he could rap too.
Ali
His
Bang.
brother was rhyming back in like the 80s.
Stevie B or something like that.
Yeah, I believe that's
Yeah,
what it was.
yeah. Yep.
No Account MC.
There you go.
He had vinyl.
Yes.
I remember all of that.
Yeah, man, me too. I mean, the days, man. This goes back to when you had Crazy Rhythms.
Yeah, the record store on the Ave, yo.
And you had Amando with the white escort blasting the music.
Yes.
Remember that?
The big speakers.
Yeah.
You heard them coming before you saw them, yo.
Yes. So, but I brought all that up to say, man, there was always a collaboration with us, doing something, right?
Yeah.
So we started that. And then later on, we moved here to Georgia.
Yeah.
And no, I'm sorry. Let me back up.
Okay.
And then after that, we eventually got together and we did the 4-3-2-1 remix.
Yeah, that was fun.
Remember that one?
Yeah, that was. I think the year we was that 2004.
I think so. That sounds about right. But we did that. That was 4-3-2-1 remix was from LL.
Method Man. Redman, Cannabis was on
DMX.
that. DMX was on it. Yeah. Well, the remix had Cannabis in there, but originally it was Method Man, Redman, DMX. Yeah.
We did that one, and that took off.
Yeah,
unexpectedly, right?
Played it on the radio.
That
WBLS.
Yeah, when WBLS picked that up.
Yeah.
It was from Wendy Williams' show because it was her camp that called me.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. They called me and was like, yo, who are you guys and where are you from? And I told them, and they were like, yo, well, we're listening to the song that y'all just did and we like it. So we're going to play it. Make sure y'all tune in.
Oh, man.
And that joint played for a
I
whole
couldn't
month.
believe I heard that, yo.
What?
I was like, yo, we're on the radio.
Yes. That was cool.
Yeah. That was humbling, but that was still like wow.
Yeah.
Like, who would have thought? Because, they was getting CDs and tapes and all that from so many artists, local and everything. We're talking about New York.
Right.
And ours happened to come up and they heard it and noticed it and they played it, man.
Yeah.
Like, that was.
And we got spent for a whole month.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. When I heard that, I was like,
what?
Wow.
Unpaid. Yo, we didn't even pay for that.
Right.
And they were playing it because
Yeah.
people were stopping us. But okay, so then now fast forward up a little bit.
Yeah.
Then we got together again and then we did SP mode.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
And
that
that
was
one
fun
was
too.
a music video.
Yeah.
So we did the music video and actually recorded and edited. We did everything in one day.
Yes, we did.
In one day. Came up with the concept, the whole nine. And that was cool because it was unplanned. It was like, yo, G, you got a rhyme? Yeah. Come through.
Yeah.
Let's do something.
Yeah. And the cool part about working with you is that, like, for that project, I made sure I came prepared. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So,
right.
and I've always valued your opinion.
Appreciate that.
Because if it was for sure. Because if it wasn't up to speed or up to par, you were going to tell me.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know what I'm saying? So you weren't just going to be like, you'd be, if it was hot, you'd be like, it's hot. If
I'ma
it's
keep it
not,
100.
it's not. Yeah. But I always respected that
Yeah.
because for me, it was just like, I didn't want to go forward with it if it was not
Up to par.
legit. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And then we were able to we did all of that in one day.
Yeah.
We did all of that in one day. And the finished product was pretty cool.
Yeah.
We got some really good feedback from that too.
I agree
It's
with
still to be continued.
you. Still. We got another one though. We're gonna do another one.
Oh, absolutely.
But then fast forward to after that to now. Here we are, right? In the Content Creation Center.
Yeah.
Which is my studio.
Yo,
we'll
this
talk
is a
about that.
really nice. Okay. I just want to say,
Yeah.
this is a really nice place, man.
Thanks, man.
This is my first time coming here. You know what I'm saying? So, just being able to be here and just be in your space. This
Appreciate
was
that,
born a long time ago.
Yeah, well, which is why I wanted to do this podcast with you.
Well, tell me why.
All right, so we've done multiple projects together, and each one has gotten its own shine on its own, right? Because we're not doing this to make any money.
Right.
We're not trying to get signed.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
This ain't no mixtape type. You know what I'm saying?
This is just two brothers that are creative, and we respect the creative space. And so we're just getting together and we're doing this, which is cool. But I wanted my official podcast to be with you you were actually interviewing me, man.
Well,
Because you came up with the idea of interviewing me, but for me, I wanted to just make the second or the next project be you and I, us sitting down and just talking.
okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Where we could just chop it up and then, take it from there. But I'm willing to be vulnerable right now and give you the mic and let you ask all the questions.
Okay. All right. So
You know what I mean? You cool with that?
no, I'm cool with that. If
Yeah,
you're cool
man.
with it, I'm cool.
Yeah, I'm there, G.
All right.
I'm there. This is my podcast. Since you're already 5 in, you school me a little bit, G. Yeah, why not?
Well,
What's up?
the cool thing about being here with you right now is
Yeah.
the fact that this is very genuine. It's authentic. It's organic, man. It's not rehearsed. We just talking, man.
Yeah.
So as topics come up, you know what I'm saying, we might just take get off this exit, but we'll get back on the main road
I'm
and
with it.
stuff. So we're at the Content Creation Center.
Yes.
And it's been a long time coming for this to be made manifest. But the idea was, back when we were 19? No, maybe even younger than that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Tell me about your vision back then. We're talking like 30 years ago, 30 plus years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
What you
bro.
saw back then, what you envisioned, you're living the dream right now.
Yeah.
Now to go through the process of getting from there to right now would be multiple episodes.
Yeah. That's
and
true.
so we're not going to try to talk about everything. We don't have the space or the time.
Okay.
However, tell me about the first time you envisioned having a place like this, a space where you can do what you're doing right now.
Man, as a kid, man, I always had this thing where I would see the image before or while I'm holding a device. That makes sense.
No, you're visual, man.
Yeah, and so I would always see it, and that was always something to me. But I believe the idea of having a studio, it really kicked in when I was doing video for the church back home, New Calvary.
Yeah.
I happened to be editing a video one time. I had just jumped into it. I had I just jumped into it.
Sink or swim.
Right. Because back then, the truth be told, man, it wasn't that many people willing to teach me what I needed to know.
Okay.
There were one person in particular that stands out to me the most is Armando. Yeah.
But I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see why.
He was the first person back then at a Montclair High who was willing to let me come into their space.
So he mentored you.
In some ways he did, unknowingly.
Yeah.
Like I just told him that we just had a conversation in person maybe 3 years ago, and I shared that with him, and he didn't even realize what he was doing. He was just being himself.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but so I saw so from sitting down and watching what Armando was doing, because he was doing music videos back then. He was taking 15-inch speakers and putting them in escorts, Ford Escorts back then. He was making beats that people could, you were like, what in the world? How'd you come up with that? So anyway, fast forward, and here I am editing this video for this church. And I just kept thinking to myself, one day I'm going to have my own place. One day I'm going to have my own place where I can do this for a lot of people, but it's going to be my own place.
Okay.
And I remember having that initial thought, and I could never shake it. And I remember having a conversation with my mother and my father about it.
What'd they say?
And my mom had a glow on her face. She smiled and it was this glow, and she was like, okay, what do you need?
Oh, wow.
I remember that. She asked me, what do you need? And I was like, nothing, I'm good. And she went and bought me a camera. That was my first video camera. It was a high 8.
Yeah.
High 8 camera. She went and bought that, and she was like, here you go. Here's your start.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
When her response was, what do you need? What did that do? Did that do anything for you?
It did. It did a lot, because being a Haitian, coming from a Haitian culture, And I think you could understand. You could vouch for this, Gary. Our parents, they worked hard.
Yeah, they did.
So they didn't have the time to come to our sporting events. As a matter of fact, they never came.
No, yo.
they didn't come to our events.
Yo, we represented our family.
Our family,
We'd
yeah.
show up. Like,
Right. And it was the same thing with our fathers.
Yeah.
But for my mom, I later learned that we were just too rough for her, although she was a rough lady.
Okay.
She couldn't take the idea of her boys getting hit or that contact sport.
Yeah.
So she didn't go.
Okay.
But anyway, so when she mentioned that to me, that was a big moment of like, wow, like you really care, or you're paying attention, or you really want to invest in what I'm doing for the very first time.
It spoke volumes to you.
Yeah. And so that was her. My father, he just looked at me. He said, "Is that what you want to do?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Then do it. I believe you can do it." And he always pushed that. He didn't try to buy anything for me. His thing was my mental space. Was, get your head right and go after it, and don't stop no matter what.
So he supported you like
big time,
emotionally, mentally, and just
big
as a
time.
Father, just letting you know, like, yo, you could do this.
Yeah. And so later on, I would eventually call my production company Schiller Productions.
Named it after him.
I named it after him. Right. Because it was that mental space that I needed.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so for me, that was that memory of, keep your head right and stay focused. And he would always say, and keep God first, always pray. And I kept that, To
this day.
To this day, yeah, I kept that. Protect your peace, keep God first, and always pray. And so
the wisdom of the Father,
word, man. And so I kept that, and I'm out, going through college, graduating, and then getting my first job in the film industry. It felt so far away from right now.
Isn't that something?
Boy, I mean.
Now, why do you think it felt, or why at that time did it feel that way?
Because when you have a dream or an idea, you only think of that particular time. Mm-hmm. You don't factor in how long it'll take. You don't factor the things that you're going to have to go through and the lessons that you're going to learn. So for me at that age, I'm thinking of this dream, this vision that I have, and I wanted it right then and there. Oh,
yeah. Probably because you saw it so clearly.
Very clearly, yes, very clearly. So here it is. I'm working for The Sopranos, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm gonna have my own studio.
That was cool.
What?
And the reason why is because I love The Sopranos.
Yeah,
that is my
me too.
Especially since I moved to Georgia, when I miss Jersey,
uh-huh.
I go to my collection and I'll pop in a season or something.
Yep.
But what I wanted to hinge on was that what was cool was watching that show. Uh-huh. And seeing your name in the credits.
Yeah, man. That
I'm like, yo, I know that dude, yo. That's my man right there.
Yeah, man. And that was a good time, man. But I remember being there, and this is how I knew God was at work, because the people that I met, I first of all, I got a job as an accountant.
Okay.
That was my
clerk. I
think
that's what I saw in the credits.
Yeah. I went in on that side because I needed an in. Okay. I needed to get in there, So
to get in.
Right, and so they all knew it. They knew what I really wanted to do, but they gave me the opportunity to explore and see what goes on the set.
Okay.
And so I met a couple of gentlemen. One guy in particular, his name is Phil. Still Phil was his nickname. He was a still photographer. Okay. His job was to just take behind the scenes photos of
footage.
Of the set. Okay. And he would talk to the other camera guys on my behalf and would say, "Look out for James. This is a good guy, and he just wants to learn." Mm-hmm. So I was getting the internship type treatment, but because I was the one with the payroll checks and the per diem, they let me in anywhere I wanted to go. Okay. And they would just tell me, you just got to be quiet. Yeah. I had access. And so I got a chance to learn tricks from the camera tricks, how they would take certain rooms and certain corners and transform them into a whole other scene. Okay. So I was getting firsthand lessons that people would pay to get.
Right.
And so I knew then, I'm like, wow, this is God. And every set that I worked on, I had favor every time. From the Teamsters driving me to different places, from them letting me go into the set and see certain people and certain things, or meeting actors and actresses who invited me to their house.
Wow. But then let me ask you this then.
What's up?
If you go in, you're doing like payroll.
Right.
Like, do you have an accounting background? Do you have a, you know what I'm saying?
No, man.
How did
that happen?
Yeah.
It was 100% confidence in doing whatever I needed to do to get closer to the dream. Okay. So when I went in for the interview, her name was V Van Dam, I believe her last name is. Mm-hmm. She said it. She said, James, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. We don't have any camera positions or anything that you want. Sorry. But the only thing that we've got is an accounting position, and I know you don't want that. And so I wanted just to get that job so bad. I said, yeah, I can do that. Never have done.
Yeah. But what was going on the inside?
On the inside, I was like, oh,
how the hell?
I just said yes to this mess. I can't believe this. And so she was like, all right, cool, you're hired. Yo, I remember sweating, like the sweat building up under my armpits.
Yeah,
I remember that. I'm stressed out.
You're feeling
like,
the pressure.
Oh my God. So I come in, the interview was on a Friday, right? I go in that Monday and I know nothing. I was so stressed out, Gary, that I stayed in my office and I just had a headache because I could not figure out how to do this stuff.
Right.
And they're bringing me more and more stacks of paper. And then finally she says, we're going to need you to cut some checks. And I'm like, OMG. And so I finally pulled one person aside that I thought I can trust. And I was able to trust this person. Kyle, that's her name. I said, Kyle, I don't know how to cut checks. How do you do this? And she showed me, and then from there, man, I figured it out. I started pulling up other papers and looking to see what they were doing, and I figured it out. And then I worked in the film industry as an accountant for a few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember that, man. So that kept you had to be sharp. Well,
yeah.
It made you sharper.
It made me sharper.
That pressure brought out what was necessary to do the job and some.
Yeah, but I will say this, man. But that was like, having that job was like the carrot dangling in front of me, because every single day I came in to be an accountant, but I wanted to learn more about film.
Yeah.
And that was my life for years, until I finally decided to do a music video, I believe, for somebody. Mm-hmm. And that was my first gig outside of the film industry.
Do you remember that music video we did?
Which one?
State?
Oh, that no. So
and everything.
So then, okay, my bad. I got to back up.
Okay,
that was my first one.
Oh yeah.
So so that was my second one. I'm talking about when we graduated.
Okay,
yeah. I did do a music video in college for a class project. I need to graduate.
Yeah.
So in order to graduate, I had to fulfill that project and get a grade. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Even that project brought a lot of people out and drew a lot of attention our way.
Yeah. Biz came, Ali Bang came.
Yeah, we had people from Montclair drive out to Delaware State. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That was a fun video, man.
Yeah, man.
That was a good video.
Yeah, too. Yeah. So, okay, so all the way up to now, man, I was just working and finally started my production company. Mm-hmm. And in all honesty,
what was the name?
Were you
talking about back then, or are you talking about you fast forwarding?
I'm fast forwarding to now.
Yeah.
Because we were doing a lot of things back then with music and making music beats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But for me, those were experiences that I learned a lot.
Okay.
I learned a lot, but then I fast forward to now, 3 kids later, second marriage.
Life.
Yeah, second marriage, which my current wife is the one who gave me the push. She knew that I wanted to do something else.
Okay.
And I kept it on the inside, and then finally she asked me, What do you want to do? And because she could tell that I wasn't happy with my job at the time. And she was like, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to start my own company. I want to start my own production company. And she said, then do it. And that was the very first time that I had got support like that.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, that was a moment for me despite my parents giving it to me, I don't live with my parents.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when my wife said that to me, I felt like Superman, man.
Man,
You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to wives.
Word. Yeah. So, and that was a huge lesson because when you, for me, I realized the importance of encouragement. When you encourage a person, you have no idea, especially a spouse, you have no idea of the potential.
Oh, I mean, it unlocks it. I mean,
It unlocks it big time, man.
Just a quick connection with what you're saying. I remember, when I went back to school to finish my college degree, I'll never forget my wife, Andreen. Shout out to Andreen, man.
Shout out, cuz.
She looked me in my eyes, James.
Yeah.
Because I was beginning to feel like it was too late to go back. Like I should have. It was something that I should have did when I was supposed to do it. I didn't do it, so it was like. Yeah. But she looked me in my eyes, man, and she said, "It's never too late to go back.
Nice.
It's never too late."
See that?
She looked me dead in my eyes, and you know what? I believed her.
Yeah. That's
why I went back and did it. And the funny thing is, and this is connecting with the vision you had for the Content Creation Center many moons ago.
Right.
From the time you saw that vision till now, the pitfalls, the journey,
oh man, it was
the roads under construction, all of the challenges. Like, you don't see that. You just see the end result.
Yeah.
But everything that you got to go through from point A to point Z, it builds character, man.
Man, let me tell you something. That, for one, what people don't know is the journey. How rough it was, not just on me, but on the family.
That's real.
That is very real, because here we are. We live in a society where everyone is judged by the amount of money that you make, the type of car that you drive, or the house that you live in,
or the degrees,
that you have, right? All of the superficial stuff that don't make you what they think that it makes you. But
it doesn't equate to what the perception
it doesn't.
Have, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it doesn't. So going through all of that, I was willing to not have any of these type of things because I knew what I wanted.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, you were clear.
I was very clear. All that other stuff would have just been a mask for what I really wanted.
Wow.
And so here it is during this pandemic. I had the crazy idea. I'd say God gave me this crazy idea to open up a studio. And and if I could be even more transparent, Rozier, that was a push to get out of my comfort zone. You see, I knew I was comfortable with making videos for people. I was comfortable with being in the basement.
Yeah,
I was comfortable with that. It was safe. It was a safety zone for me. But I knew that my mind and my thinking had to change.
You had to evolve. You had to expand.
I had to, because I realized, and I'll never forget it. I was in the basement, and we had just finished the basement, and so I created my own office and everything like that. And the thought came to me. I said, "Man, if I stay in here, then I'll always have basement thinking."
Oh, wow! So it was a mentality, a mindset.
Yeah. So I was like, I got to get out of the basement. I got to get out of the basement mentality and get in my own place. And I just so happened to be in a meeting where a gentleman happened to be talking about some open space he had for rent. And I asked him, I knew I was being nosy at the time. I just overheard it. That's really what it was. Yeah. And so I go, "Hey man, I just heard you talk about your space. What are you talking about, and where is it?" And he told me, and I said, "Can we go now?" Now that's not normally something that I do.
Right. What prompted you to do that?
I don't know. It was just the way that it's kind of like the way that I describe being in SP mode.
Okay.
It's that spark. That's something that feels different from the normal. Mm-hmm. And when he said it, it was like it leaped out at me. And so I go, wait a minute, there's something in that. I say, hey man, can I see it?
It resonated with
you.
you.
Yeah. And so I knew then, I said, wow, I've never done that before. Let's go. And we walk in here. We walked into this place and it had no walls, no floor, no ceiling. It was bare.
Yeah.
Right? It was just wood all over the place.
Raw.
And I saw it. And I'm talking to the landlord and the guy. It was the two landlords. And I remember saying to them, I want this place. And he said, well, if you want it, it's yours. That's what he said.
That simple.
It was just that simple, right?
Did it feel too good to be true?
It did.
When he said it?
When he said it, I started to smile. And then, so I needed it to be more real to me because, you could sabotage, you could self-sabotage.
True,
yourself.
or talk yourself out.
You could talk yourself out of it, or you can just BS. You know how we do, right?
Yeah,
we procrastinate.
Putzing around.
Yeah, so I took a picture. I said, you know what? I'm going to take a picture, and I'm going to take this picture to my wife and let her see it. Now, that way, I'm putting it out there. So if I BS, she can call me on it. She can call me on it, and I'm not going to like that feeling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not going to like that feeling.
Yeah.
So
it's going to haunt you.
Yeah, it's going to haunt me. Now, so I said, all right, I'm going to bring this to her and then see what she thinks of this.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So what did she say?
And she was like, oh, it's nice. But I can tell she was kind of like, here's another idea.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying? Here we go. And to give credit to her, I got to keep it 100. Because I've come up with a lot of ideas and a lot of thoughts that I didn't follow through with because it just didn't feel right ultimately.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They were genuine ideas that I thought were right.
Yeah.
But, you give it more thought. It's like, nah, it's not the right one. So anyway, she was like, yo, if you want it, go get it. Like, go do it. And I was stuck. I couldn't shake it. I knew then this was the move that I needed to make.
Something you had to do.
Yeah. I already put my foot in my mouth and I already put it out there to her and to myself. I already knew it. And I told these guys that I wanted it. So I just went forth with it.
You followed through.
Yeah. And now one time that she discouraged me, my wife. She just was like, all right. And she just watched. She watched.
She heard what you said,
yeah.
but she was watching what you was going to do.
Yeah. Now, for those of you who don't fully understand why that was important, my wife already owns a business. Mm-hmm. And her business is thriving.
Atlanta Bookkeeping Solutions. Yeah.
Atlanta Bookkeeping Solutions. And
shout out to ABS.
Shout out to ABS. If you guys are listening and you need your books done right. You don't want to
balance the books. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. She's really good at it. Her firm, they're really good. Mm-hmm. They do an awesome job, and they're on point. To be honest with you, man, they do better work than a lot of the bigger firms that I know out here. She's humble about it, but anyway, so for her to see me doing it, it was like, wow, okay, he's taking a big step or a leap of faith. But she watched me.
Matrix plug in.
Yeah.
You're starting to believe.
Right. You know what I mean? And so anyway, so I did it, and here we are, man. And so my initial reason for doing this was I had two things in mind. Okay. One was I needed a bigger workspace that didn't feel like I was in a basement. Okay. Right? I needed more room. That was one. And then two, I had worked in Carrollton for a long time. Mm-hmm. Right? 8 years at the University of West Georgia.
UWG.
And so I got a chance to learn Carrollton and the people within the community. And that was through working with Red Harmon over at Century 21.
Shout out to Novus, right?
Yes, Century 21 Novus. Yes, Red Harmon. Man, let me tell you something. He's a brother. He's my brother, man. From another mother. We just don't have we just don't have the same mother and father. But boy, he's a good dude, man. He showed me. I learned a lot from him. Okay. But he's introduced me to a lot of good people in Carrollton. And so when I got this place, my thought was I wanted to create a place where other companies, other businesses can look to and come to have content created for their business. So if they needed to go to a place and get a headshot done, they can come right here.
Yeah.
If they wanted to do like what we're doing now, which is a podcast, they can come here and we can have these services available for them. And so that was my thinking. It was like, and I know it because I had my own production company, right, without a facility.
Yeah.
And so when you're hiring people and you're charging this type of money, they'll go with you, but they're more likely to go with you if you have a location that they can come to and have a meeting with and come see your stuff and know that you're legit and that you're going to be here for a while.
Okay.
And that was it. So once I got this, I felt like, okay, cool. I can be of service to the community in a way that I believe Carrollton deserves, man. Carrollton, believe it or not, has got a lot of good qualities here. And a lot
hidden
of
jewels.
Hidden jewels. I've always said that. I've gotten calls to come out to Atlanta, but I've always felt a connection with Carrollton.
Okay. So this is a special place for you.
Yeah. So, and this is it, man. You know, it's and it's been pretty quiet, right? Pandemic and all that.
Yeah.
But right before we started, you saw what happened. Right there, we got Spirit Night. Well, let me back up.
Okay.
We're right in the middle of the square.
Yeah.
204 Adamson Square. We're on the left side of Irish Pub. And so tonight they're doing Spirit Wear.
Okay.
Right? I believe it's called Spirit Wear or Spirit something.
Spirit Night, probably for a local school
yeah,
or something
yeah.
like that. Okay.
Right. And they're all over at Butter Dutter.
Yeah.
It's an ice cream shop. And all the kids came in here.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Wasn't that cool, man?
That was cool, man. Yeah.
And they're like, yo,
Like,
you
what
do
are you
YouTube?
doing here?
Yeah.
You videos? You make, yeah.
I will never turn these kids away because you don't know who's the one that gets sparked
Yeah.
to want to do something like this or better. You know?
Yeah. They're seeing what you're doing and you
Yep.
know, they walk away and ponder that.
Yeah.
Not every kid's attention span is like that small.
Absolutely.
Some of them, they remember these things.
Yeah. And see, for me, it's like if Armando could do that for me, I could do that for another kid.
Without even knowing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was another Buff. Remember Buff?
Oh, yeah.
Buff is another one. He let me in. You
Yeah.
know, he taught me some things about sampling. Buff was a sampler. He was a sample master back then.
And he was, back then he was really good, man.
Yeah.
He
So
was really good.
Yep, you had Buff.
Shout out to Buff, man.
Yeah, shout out to Buff. You also had Buff. You also had Montequim.
Oh, yeah.
Remember
yeah,
Quim?
Yeah, I remember
Quim opened his doors to me a little bit. Not too much because I wasn't from the Hollow.
Right.
You know how that goes.
Yeah,
It's cliquish. It's cliquish.
No,
You're just gonna be honest
you know what I'm
about
saying?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he let me in. This was the time when they were battling and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So right now, man, I mean, to have this place and open it to the public, and to be able to create content for people, man, I love this.
Wow.
Like I come to the studio every single weekday, and not one time do I feel like I don't want to be here. I love it, man. I look forward to coming here, bro.
Wow.
First time ever looking forward to just going to a job.
Yeah. Yeah. How many people can say that,
Man.
though? Some people, they spend a lifetime,
Yeah.
in search of that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And it's a lot of other people too, man, who's watched the journey, but Sal, remember Sal?
Oh, yeah,
Jerome
Sal.
Jackson,
Yeah,
right?
no doubt.
Sal, he posted a comment on one of my posts that I made about this, the center.
Yeah.
And he said, man, you've been at it, or you had this thought since Glenfield School.
It's middle school, man.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
But it's cool that he remembered that.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Absolutely.
These are people that may not be in your clique, right? In your close circle.
Circle or whatever.
But the influence and the conversations that we used to all have back then,
They serve as points of references, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So here we are, man. Here we are.
Wow. The journey, man.
Yeah.
And every journey is specific to the individual.
Yeah.
From the inception of the dream and the vision to it, coming to fruition.
Yep.
Man, lots of twists and turns, and that journey is very much that, man.
Yeah.
But look how it doesn't even matter how long it took. What matters is you're here. You've made it happen. You stayed the course.
Yeah.
And the best is just yet to come, man. I mean, this is exciting.
That's the goal, man. That's the goal, Gary. And, you know, both my parents are not here now to see it with their own two eyes in this realm. But I didn't realize, it's weird, right? Because here I am, my total focus was getting things in here and getting this place right in the way that I had always seen it in my mind. And it wasn't until my friend Rhett Harmon, one day he was here, and on our way out, I think we were getting ready to go get something to eat, some lunch or something. And as I'm walking out, see, Rhett has that same thing too, where you see the spark in him. He's got this look. I can't explain it, but I know it. And when I walked out, he had this look. He goes, "Hey, man, have you taken a picture in front of your new place yet?"
Right.
And that's when it hit me like, yo, you hadn't even taken the time to realize that you're finally doing what you've been wanting to do for a long time. And I looked at him, I said, "Brad, no, I hadn't." He said, "Man, get over there." And I had to listen to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a bit, man.
Yeah. And he took that picture and
you posted it.
And I posted it, and I had to keep it 100, you know?
Yeah.
I could, this is one of those scenarios where you make a promise and you keep it your entire life, and then you can look back and say, I kept my promise.
Yo, you did that, man.
You know?
Yes.
I kept it. So when I see them again, I could look at them and say, yep, I got it. You know?
And I'm sure your parents are proud, man, because they're with you. They're on the inside of you, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And this is, and the funniest thing is, right, when we have these type of conversations, you know, it sounds like, you know, you made it, but really it's just the beginning.
Yeah, you just.
It's really just the beginning.
It's like
man.
entry level.
Yeah, this is where it starts.
Yeah, remember that?
The goal is now to keep it and keep rocking out.
Yeah.
You know, and be a good manager, a steward over my stuff.
Yeah.
You know, right? The Bible talks about that.
No,
So
I mean, it's just fundamental.
it's fundamental. It is. So I'm loving it, man. I'm able to create some cool content for people. And this actually forces me to expand my thinking and my vision way more.
Okay.
Because now you're not in the basement where you can come up with an idea and hide.
Right. Yeah.
No, there's no hide now. There's no hide
out
now.
there, yeah.
You see it. There's 3 big windows right there.
Yeah.
We're recording now, and people are walking up and looking at us.
They see us doing something important.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
there's no more hiding, man. It is what it is now. So this is it, Rozier, and I'm happy, man. I'm loving this.
Wow.
I'm loving this journey, bro.
No, man, I'm really glad to hear that. It's actually inspiring
Yeah.
because you know, this is none of this came easy.
Ooh,
You know,
Lord, no.
A lot of times people will see, you know, a storefront or a business, or they'll see you, you know, managing something.
Right.
And they may want that, but they don't know the glory behind the story.
Man.
They don't know the cost. They don't know the sacrifice.
Yeah.
They don't know the disappointment. That carrot dangling in front of you, man. And for so long, and you're like, you can see it, but why is it not happening? What seems to be the problem? Or your focus on the focus oftentimes is on what you don't have.
Right.
When sometimes you just got to use what you got and make it work, man.
Yeah.
And then along the way, that, you know, while you're on the path of that journey, there are people assigned to you that are going to help you, that are going to point you in another direction. Man. And sometimes you're not even looking for that. And, you know, you'll come across someone that'll bless you with something, or give you direction, or give you advice, or give you encouragement, like you mentioned a little while ago. And it's all, you're not alone.
Yeah, it's all connected.
Yeah.
It really is. When I think about my job at the university, I was a production coordinator there, and I ran the station, the television station, the whole studio. When I look back now, all of that was a lesson. It was all preparation.
Yeah.
All of it. Because when I got there, everything was outdated. Everything. We were using pennies to balance the cameras on the tripods.
Oh, wow.
That's how bad. But even though we had old equipment back then, those students loved to create. And that's what made my job so much easier. I ended up loving those kids, man. I loved every last student that I had. Wow. Really, man. I treated them like they were my kids, like my sons and daughters. Yeah. And that's how I trained them. Because I understood that you can go to college for this and come out and end up being a waitress or a waiter. Yeah. Because this industry is hard, man. It's not easy. It's not. And so
what's one challenging thing about this industry?
Getting in. Getting in the door. You have to do your dues. You got to pay some serious dues to get in and be respected. Wow. You do. Even if you're talented, right? I knew I was talented. And that's what it was. I was talented. I wasn't skilled yet.
Okay, so you had more passion than skill.
Yeah. And so I always had the cheaper camera. I did, because I couldn't hang with these big boys. but that developed something in me, because even though my camera was a bit inferior, you know what I'm saying? I mastered it. Yeah. And I learned how to create quality, crystal clear quality product that had the most expensive person who owned that most expensive camera questioning what equipment I used. Right. And when I would tell them, I knew then they're not calling me back. They're not calling me back. And that to me, that was like, yes. As long as I kept feeling that, I'm like, hell yeah, I got to keep going.
It reminds me of something that Bruce Lee said.
What's that?
I'm going to paraphrase it. He said something along the lines of, I don't fear the man that has practiced like 10,000 kicks. I fear the man that has practiced one kick 10,000 times.
Yeah, I get that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep, because you master that kick. Yeah. And if that kick delivers. But that's what it was for me, man. Yeah. So for me, what that did to me was it taught me how to master everything that I get. And until I understand it, I'm not going to the next device. And that's what I would teach my students. And I teach this to my son now. Don't just go get the next thing because it's got all these cool features. That don't mean
adopters.
That don't mean nothing.
Right.
If you don't know how to use the simple thing, then all that other stuff, you'll be even dumber. Yeah. And now it's funny, right? Because I'm having this conversation with my son the other day, and I said, hey, I'm going to get another camera and I'll give you this one. And he's like, ooh, Dad, I don't know. I'm kind of liking this one. And the one he's got is the very first camera that I have owned. Wow. When I started Schiller Productions.
How'd that make you feel when he said that?
It was cool because I felt like I was looking at myself again. Wow. But more importantly, when I was trying to give him that lesson, like, stop chasing the newest camera. Learn this one. Yeah. Learn to love what it does. Because if you can figure it out here, all the other cameras would be easy. Yeah. And now he's creating content that they're thinking is 4K quality. Right. And it's not. He's figured it out. He's listening. He's listening. So now he's like, I'll pass on that new camera. Let me hang tight with this. I'm liking what I'm doing with this. So
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. And that's what I want to see and hear. So
that was a father in you just then. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So this is good, man. And then so I'm happy, man. I get joy out of creating some dope content for people and then seeing their reaction and knowing that I can help a business make more money.
Speaking of which, you did a project with Wayne Holt recently. Yeah. BrokenCopy.com?
BrokenCopy.com. Yeah. So Wayne, I met Wayne through you. I met Wayne through you.
Shout out to Wayne Holt.
Wayne Holt, Broken Copy. That's a company where they help you clarify your message on your website. A lot of us business owners are not great writers. Okay. We've got all these ideas and these things, but we don't know how to convey that message well, especially on the website. So his company does that. They'll go in, they'll examine it and let you know what needs to be done, and they'll fix it. Okay. And so he called me, and he was like, "Hey, man, I need you to be in SP mode for me. I said, yeah, what's good? What's going on? And that's when he began to share with me his company. He said, so I don't know what I want. I just know I want you to do what you do.
Okay. You know what, though? Yeah, that's cool.
That's what he said. I said, all right, give me an idea, a rough idea. He said, man, I don't know. I mean, and he explained this business to me again. And I said, all right, how about if we do this? How about we show you getting a phone call or maybe a text message, and then you do what you do to get prepared to go do the work in a remote area.
Oh, so that's the story behind.
That's what it was. Product. So yeah, he was like, all right, but I don't know what I do. So I said, well, no, hold on now. Don't rush it.
Yeah.
Pause. What do you like to do before you start writing, before you get in the zone? He's like, well, I like coffee. I said, okay, we'll incorporate coffee. I said, what else you do, man? And he was like, that's it, man. So I said, all right, well, let's make this a journey. Let's get your coffee, and then let's see you taking the drive or somehow appearing where you are. But we'll make it creative. He's like, all right, how you going to do that? I said,
we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
SP Mode is about.
Yeah, exactly. And so as we're filming, remember I told you certain things just stick out at me?
Yeah.
And so as I'm filming, I peeped certain transitions that I can do. I said, hey, Wayne, do this and do that. And he's looking at me like, man, this don't make no sense.
Right.
And as time went on, he just was like, okay, he just yielded.
He trusted you.
He trusted me, man. And when he saw the finished product, he was like, dude, how did you know? You know how Wayne talk?
Yeah.
How did you know?
How did you know?
Like, this is exactly it. But, for me, man, that's joy.
Oh, yeah.
That's joy for me, because I know what it's like to own a business. And then when you see certain things happen, that helps move your business further and clarifies the vision that you've had for it.
Yeah.
And I can play a part in that. Yo, I love it.
Well, it also, what you've done with BrokenCopy.com is he had the ideas, but they were like floating perhaps in his head.
Yeah.
And you just told a story.
Yeah.
And you used elements of the story that most folks might take for granted.
Yeah.
You used his process to create something.
Yeah. I asked him about his process, which is very important to how I work. I have a hard time with control freaks.
Oh, yeah. I can dig it. I feel you, man.
For anybody out there who's a control freak, I'm telling you now.
This might not be a good fit for you now.
I will yield to whatever you want to control and then let you control it. I will bow out.
Yeah.
Because that's not flowing for me.
Okay.
It's not free for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to be free, and I want you to be free. So,
that's
that's cool. You're just not my target audience. I'm okay with that.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? I know my lane.
Well, I've always felt that way with you. Like, whenever we work on anything, I know where my expertise is. I know what my lane is, and I stay in it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I trust you.
Word.
I trust your process. And even if I'm not sure about the things that I'm not sure about, I'm like, well, you know what? If he's telling me to do this, or if he's suggesting this, I'm just going to roll with it. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so far, you're batting 1,000.
Appreciate it.
But I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I don't just trust you, I respect you, and I respect what you do.
Likewise.
So I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you how to do what you do when I don't even have a clue. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you know what, though? It's got to be a 50-50 situation. You know what I mean? It's got to be balance.
Yeah.
With me, when I'm working with people, it's got to be some kind of balance. Even with you, man. I mean, listen. People will hear you talk, and they'll say, "Wow, he's intelligent and he articulates very well." But what a lot of people don't know is how much of a good writer you are.
I've always loved words, man.
Yeah, and so here it is, right? Just like you say, you trust me. Hey, let's keep it 100. There are plenty of times where I'll call you. And I'm like, yo, G, I need you to read this over for me before I send this out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's up?
Yeah.
And plenty of times, actually every single time, every time you have always come through for me, man. You've delivered. And that was always peace, because that's been a weak area for me.
Now, I appreciate that, because with you, I understand what it is you're trying to say.
Yeah,
and
you do.
Sometimes what you may fail to say, or when you fall short in trying to convey the message, I can hear what you're trying to say.
Yeah, and that helps.
And so I can just piece it together and be like, yo, you know what? I see what he's trying to say here, but you know what? I think this word will go over here.
Yeah.
I think this will replace this sentence right here. I think this will make this a little bit clear.
Right.
Oh, there's a word for this. He may not know it, but we'll put this in here.
Yeah.
We're not going to make it sound obscure or anything like that. We're just going to make it common and
It
clear.
helps, man.
You know what I'm saying?
It helps. It really helps.
I
And
appreciate that, man.
Yeah, man. And those are the two things that every business, I believe, needs. And so one would ask, okay, why video production? Why content creation? Well, if you don't, I said this the other day in an interview. If you don't have content, you don't have currency as it relates to marketing. Without content, it's impossible to market.
Well, let me ask you something. This is a simple question.
Yeah.
Define content, if you don't mind.
Well, for me, the way that I've always interpreted content to be is material that can be used, whether it's photo, video, or audio, right? Print. Material that can be used to push or promote your product or your service.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And so
it's the stuff.
Yeah, it's
dreams are made of.
Right. It's the stuff. It's the stuff that's supposed to convince others into believing that your product or your service is the best.
Okay.
You see?
Yes.
And every business really needs it. And so my job is to help create that, whether big or small. I don't treat a bigger project with more care than I do the small project, because I know what it's like to be the small guy with a big dream, right? So why treat you like you're small? So I'm going to give you the same quality. I'm going to talk to you the same way, and, the whole nine, and deliver the same kind of product. It might not have the same amount of bells and whistles and all that, but it's enough to get you going.
And you're going to give it the same careful attention that you would give a business or a project that's that requires greater content, greater needs, or what have you. You're not going to look down on any project because it's smaller in comparison.
No.
Got you.
Yeah, it's helping dreams, man. That's the thing that I get joy out of, is helping others establish certain dreams and visions. I see things. I see it, and I see things in creative ways. And so when I'm given permission to create on their behalf, turn me loose. That's like the saying that I said, right? Yeah. It always starts with a spark. Yeah, give me the tools that I need and watch me work. Right.
I remember that.
Yeah, and that's really how I live this. You give me once you explain it to me and I get it, that's the spark that I need.
It's fair, man.
Yeah. Now, from that point on, give me everything that I'm asking you for, so that I can make what I'm seeing, and I believe is what you're asking me to make.
Well,
yeah, man.
There you have it.
There it is, bro. So
coming to you live from the Content Creation Center,
Carrollton, Georgia.
Tell your listeners how can they reach you?
Yeah. So if you guys want to reach me, well, I have a website. It's SchillerProductions.com. That's SCHILLER Productions with the S at the end.com. You could shoot me an email at SchillerProductions@gmail.com. And then on social media, I'm on Facebook as Schiller Productions as well. And then the same thing on Instagram. It's Schiller _ and then Productions.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then YouTube, same thing. So I pretty much keep the name. It's the name.
Yeah.
And, you might just have to put the _ to separate the names, but that's it. That's where I'm at right now. I'm starting to get into Rumble and BitChute.
Okay.
Those are the other new platforms that are
Twitch
coming out.
Also?
I haven't fooled with Twitch yet. I don't know much about it.
Okay.
So I won't push it, but yeah. yeah, those are my places right now. And if you want, you can also come on down to 204 Adamson Square, and that's in the downtown Carrollton area. We're on the left of the Irish pub. You guys can come down here, and you can also call the studio at 678-890-1083. That's it, man.
There you have it.
Yeah.
It's funny because this is your podcast.
Word.
But I feel like
You're the one yeah.
I'm hosting. I'm the guest,
But
special guest host right now.
But you are, though, G's.
He's
That
allowed
type of
me
trust.
to be that. Yeah, and
yeah.
I appreciate that, man. Because listen, it's an honor to be here, man. It really is.
Thanks,
I'm
bro.
so happy to be here, to see your place, to see your space, to see where you create and where the magic is formed and everything, man. And you're living the dream, James.
Yeah.
You're living the dream.
Yeah. Well, yeah, living my dream, man. And it feels good. It feels good, bro. It really does, man.
That's good stuff, man.
This is stuff that I remember, like, I remember having headphones on as a kid and laying on my back in my bedroom, right? This is when we was on 109 Maple.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, laying on my back, man, and just thinking like, yo, I gotta have my own space one day. I'm gonna have my own space one day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I would envision. You hear all that, right?
Harley or something.
But I would see those. I would have these thoughts, man. Have these thoughts. Not ever realizing it would take this long, but I'm just grateful to God, man, and my family, kids, and everybody else who helped me out, who helped me at least stay focused. You know what I'm saying? Like people like UG, you know, that would constantly get on me if I was screwing up, man. If it looked like I wasn't heading in the right direction, or you know how it goes, man.
I do.
And so, knowing you my whole life, there's no way I can not take that correction.
No, it goes both ways.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Because when the parents ain't here, it's the next best thing.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, your parents used to beat my behind.
Yeah. I mean, we both. I remember when Poppy gave me some licks. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Thank God for that, though, man.
Yeah.
That kept us off the streets, man.
It sure did.
Kept us focused.
It sure did. Man. It sure did, man. So, nah, Rozier, I appreciate you coming down here, man.
My pleasure,
and
brother.
asking these questions. These are things that I don't think I've ever shared openly like this.
Well, you know, I might be asking a couple questions here and there, but I'm actually listening like everybody else is listening right now. And I'm learning some things about the process. In between the inception of the vision and the materialization of it. It's the process that really stands out. Lots
of lonely feelings, lots of tears, lots of doubt, lots of insecurities.
All of that came to
all of it, man. And you know, I just know it was a point in time that I had to start getting real with James.
Okay.
I had to start getting real with James and facing the issues that James dealt with that nobody else really understood or saw.
Or even had a clue.
But I knew that it was affecting me moving forward.
Okay.
I knew that much. And so I had to start getting real about those things. And once I began dealing with my own self, the vision and the path became a little clearer.
Gotcha.
You know,
Yes.
it really did.
Right
it
now.
really did.
Yeah.
It really did. And I started dealing with the BS. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about when I say BS. All of us got it. We hide very well.
Oh, yeah.
We hide. We mask things very well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But when it's all said and done and those things are gone, man, you're faced with yourself.
Yeah. That's true.
And so, just a lot of self-reflection and correction came before this point. I can honestly say that. Yep. Those things that triggered me back then, I'm good with now.
Now that's powerful.
Yeah, man.
That's powerful, man.
So, hey, man, all I could do now is just keep on creating and go bigger. But I'm not in a rush. I'm not in a rush.
Yeah, that's a wisdom gained from experience.
Hell nah, I'm not in a rush.
Easy.
Yeah. Man, I appreciate this, Gary. How long we been going, man? We've been going for a little over an hour now.
I don't even know how long we've been.
Yeah, it doesn't even feel like it
doesn't.
says an hour and 9 minutes.
Oh,
So,
that's nice.
well, I guess we'll sign off, man.
All right, man.
This is my first official one. I did one with Andy.
Okay.
But we were talking about, we were talking about
the fishing tournament.
Yeah, fishing tournament, stuff like that. So I don't want to consider that as a first one since it wasn't, what we're talking about now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I will say it's definitely an honor to have you interviewing me. That's the first interview I've had.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. No
one
doubt.
of many.
Yeah. So next time I need to be on your podcast.
Oh gosh, yeah. Okay.
Gary's got to follow. Hey, by the way, what's the name of your podcast?
It's called the G Rose Podcast.
Spell that.
It's with the G, R, the O, and a Z. With a bar over the O to show the long vowel sound. It's the G Rose Podcast.
You see what I'm saying, guys? Wordsmith right here, man. As a matter of fact, what is it? Word Maven?
Yeah.
There it is. See? Yeah. I don't think people know this, but you're the one who's inspired me to get sharper with understanding words and knowing the root word and the meaning of it and how to properly use it and actually
the etymology. Yeah.
There it is. What was the first book that you actually encouraged me to get and study?
The
Verbal Advantage
by
there
Charles
it is.
Harrington Elster.
Yes. I think every child should have that book.
It's definitely been a jewel. I still have my copy.
Me too. I got mine.
It's beat up, and I have the audio program, of that book. Before I read Verbal Advantage, and you know who put me on the Verbal Advantage?
Who?
Dr. Amina Keats.
Oh yeah,
She put me onto that book.
Really?
Yeah, that was back in I
idea.
think 2005 or something. I've been reading that since, amongst other vocabulary building programs.
Yeah,
that's one that I always go back and revisit.
Me too. It's been a while since I've gone back to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
To any book really, but that book, honestly, I learned a lot. I realized how I was using words incorrectly.
Yeah, me too.
Incorrectly. OMG.
Me too.
So reading that helped develop a better vocabulary.
And it also allows you to, aside from that book, it allows you to express your thoughts clearly.
Right.
And you don't have to have a vast vocabulary to do that.
Right.
And you know who inspired me?
Who?
Several people. Reverend Childress from New Calvary Baptist Church in Montclair.
Yeah.
That's one.
Shout out to Childress.
Rest in peace, Dr. Demu Emezulu Kenyatta.
Oh, Dr. Kenyatta,
Delaware State University.
Yeah.
Dean Williams at Delaware State University. He during my undergraduate years, he was the dean of the School of Business, and that man was sharp. He had like 6 commas behind his last name.
Wow.
And these people, they weren't just great orators.
Right.
These were people that spoke thoughtfully and clearly. And one of the things that Dr. Kenyatta said that I'll never forget, he said one of the most frustrating things in life is to have a series of thoughts in your mind and the inability to express them.
Yeah.
And I said, I didn't want that to be me.
Right. Because, you often see it now. People are talking, specifically artists. And it's not, and somehow, I'm not going to get on this rant, but society has okayed not being able to communicate clearly.
Yeah.
You see these guys. Yeah, we've dumbed it down. You see these guys talking about, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what it is. No, I don't know what it is. No, I don't know what you're saying.
Explain
to me what it is and what you're saying.
Yeah, you're right.
You see? 'Cause
Pet peeve of mine, definitely.
come on, man. And we got kids.
I know.
My son talked to me and talked about, Dad. No, I don't know.
I don't know.
Tell me what you trying to say right now. Talk to me, son.
Yeah.
Verbalize. Pronounce it.
It's important.
Man.
It's
so
important.
anyway, yeah. But yeah, well, shout out to Dr. Keats, who's doing a really good job now. Holistic.
Yeah.
Holistic.
Naturopathic oncology.
Yes. Doing
FABNO certified.
Yeah.
FABNO.
And she does these Facebook Lives. Where she
every
talks
Thursday.
About, is it Thursday? Okay. And she talks about like different things as it relates to cancer.
Yeah.
And the body and the natural foods and
yes.
Oh man, it's so.
She has a passion for oncology, man.
Yeah,
especially breast cancer in women,
right?
Especially African American women, man.
Yeah. So shout outs to Dr. Keats. She's over in where is she? Is it Maryland or Pennsylvania?
Montgomery County in Maryland.
Yeah. So if you are looking for a holistic naturopathic, am I saying that correctly?
Yes.
G.
Yes.
Doctor, you might want to check her out, Dr. Keats. Well, Rozier, it's been a pleasure, brother.
Yeah.
I'm ready to.
We did this.
Yeah, I'm ready to go and get something to eat.
You head over to the pub.
Yeah, Irish pub. We're coming, Chad.
Right. Yeah.
So listen, there'll be many more to come. So you guys tune in to the James Paul podcast show. That's what I'm calling it, G.
And what platforms can we find you on?
I'm working on that.
Okay.
I'm working on that. I'm still new at this, G.
Hey, that's all good, man.
I know for sure though I am going to use YouTube and Rumble.
Okay.
Those two platforms for sure. I'm going to use those. Yeah. And then there's Anchor.
Yeah.
I'm going to check out Anchor.
Yeah, I'm on Anchor.
You're on Anchor? I'll probably do that as well. But
once you get on Anchor, then they'll make it available on other podcast sites like Apple Podcasts.
There it is.
What else? Spotify.
Yes.
It'll be available, and they'll let you know. It just starts popping up, man.
Oh, that's nice. Well, Anchor it is.
Yeah.
Anchor. We need a commercial deal.
There we go.
Right?
Yeah.
A promotional deal. So, yeah, we'll do that, man. But anyway, Garrett, thank you very much for this interview, man.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, for sure. We'll do it again.
Absolutely.
All right, man.
We're signing out. Godspeed.
Godspeed, guys. Peace.